AI to do it for you?
Listen, I do have AI, but I haven't blown her up yet this morning. So hold on one second.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Hey, we're back, kids. How you doing?
Great. You?
Great. I mean, are you kidding? You
This
couldn't
is
ask
done.
for a better week than we're having right now. This is a great week in America.
Well, we don't get
There
bored.
is so
This is
much
for
going on.
this is for sure.
There is so much going on right now in
I
America
don't
that
know.
this is like friggin' awesome. Are you kidding? I'm loving it, man. This is awesome.
All
Uh,
going according to plan, huh, Stephen?
oh yeah, here at the Illuminati Society, I must tell you, we're very excited because democracy is coming to an end. Thank God. Hated that. We're getting rid of everybody. I like that. It's a beauty. It's the best. And what's his face? I bought his book because he talked The Great Transformation by Karl Polanyi or whatever his name is. I bought the book. We're going to discuss this a little bit today, but it's a phenomenal book. It's basically Trump's plan. So there you go. I'm enjoying it. So yeah,
So
I
we
like watching it.
reveal the Trump's plan today.
Yeah, why not? Hey, so the real question is, where do you want to begin? There is so much. We've got mommy and daddy are fighting, which is Elon and Donnie. They're fighting. And the best part about it is, and you know,
It's all connected.
but here's the best part.
Yeah.
But here's the funny part. Donnie is the president of the United States. Last time I checked. And Elon wrote a $300 million check to make sure he became president.
That's
So
what
he
they
had a
say.
puppet, but he didn't do the puppet thing really well. And now Elon's supposedly still the richest man in the world. I question that. But if these guys are that powerful and that rich and that busy, why are they texting like high school girls fighting with each other on Twitter? They have that to me is the funniest thing. And I've been looking like even the newspapers have been covering it. And I'm just saying to myself, you have a country to run and you have some make believe companies to run over here. Uh, how do you have time to Twitter? Seriously, like I don't have time to Twitter and I'm not running the United States. Well, technically I run the
Yeah,
world, but
it's
I'm not
but
running the United States and I don't have make believe companies that are about to get all their government contracts pulled. So how do you do that? And the best part about the whole thing, which made my whole weekend, Steve Bannon says because
yeah.
Elon Musk became a US citizen illegally because of his student visa, they may deport him. And I know
Yeah.
on Wednesday's show with Roll on Vaguely True, they don't want him back. So I
Right, I
don't
was
know where
gonna
he's
say, I
going.
can't wait to see what he says about it.
Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna go. Listen, all I
Nope.
have to do is I'm gonna start with that, and I'm not gonna say a word for an hour. And he'll just go. He'll just go on a
Yeah.
rant on
But
Vaguely True for about an hour. So don't
but
miss that. But
but
I'm just saying,
you see why we
it's great.
stopped. You see why we stopped talking about art in the show, because reality and politics is
Right?
more
When was the
art.
last
It's
time
more
we talked about
surrealism
art?
than any art that we can think of,
I know.
right? and and
Such a-
look, it's really crazy if you take it from many perspectives. Because, for example, we just saw the strongest politician in the world
Yeah.
fighting with the strongest,
Putin? Oh,
I mean, rich guy, this is the richest guy in the world, which
they can fight
before
with me.
they were like brothers.
No,
There was
they were no,
like,
first of all, they were never like brothers. They were how do I put this? They were kind of like married couples in Texas. They're still going to be brothers and sisters when they're divorced. But they're it's so wrong. Yeah, I've got a question by the way. If you're an orphan, can you eat at a family restaurant? Anyway, but I don't ever think they were like what you call it. I don't think they were ever like brothers. I think Elon served a purpose for Donnie, and now he's done. You know what I mean? Like he like okay, bye bye, go bye bye bye. And then Donald the other day was like,
yeah, but something went wrong, right? Something.
well, sure. Look at what went wrong is because probably Elon went do this. Donnie's like no, and that's it. I mean, I don't know the like I can only read what the girls are typing to each other, but it's just I'm like seriously, if I'm China or Russia. Or here, I'll even do it. I'll even pick a little like nothing country. Like if I'm like the Maldives, and I'm going to look at this and go, "That's the superpower? Seriously, this?" I mean, like if I was a little country in the middle of nowhere and I had like 7 people, I'd be like, "Go invade the United States. You're fine. No one will even know." It's like it's pathetic. It truly is. It's like we're children. And now Trump is doing he's
It's pathetic.
sending the
Yeah.
National Guard in Los Angeles because
Mhm.
people are protesting what
Yeah.
ICE is doing. And to an extent, I get it. To another extent, I understand what Gary Newsom's saying about, hey, like we usually try to talk this out. But if you didn't go in like the Gestapo, you probably wouldn't have the problems you're having. So once again, it's the way things are done, which is why I think we have the issues that we're having. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a finance guy. I mean, granted, I read the, but don't worry about that. So,
Well, Trump is trying to address with a
Anyone?
simple mind,
Crickets?
and very simple solutions.
yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to a very complicated world. That's what it is. It's look about the riots.
Adam's breaking up this morning.
I was
You'll
gonna
have
say,
to just
okay, so that's not
ridiculous.
me, right? That's him.
Because I
Okay.
don't know really what's going on. I know with the
Yeah, Adam's having problems.
It's because they realize that we're on air, and so they're trying to
They're sabotaging Adam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're sabotaging Adam.
But
Adam, you may have to log and come back in. Vicky, tell us your thoughts while Adam's fixing his problem today, his gerbil.
well, it's funny because I'm one of those people that had blocked Elon off of his own platform X because, somehow I was automatically following him, and I was like,
Right.
unfollow, block, block, block. And then, like you said, the girls started fighting, and everyone was like, unblock, 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 because they wanted to see what everyone was saying. Like, what's the next thing they're gonna say?
I'm just dumbfounded by it. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
it's cute. It's cute if it wasn't who they are.
Right.
But
They didn't have nuclear codes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But Bannon, I forgot if he was on Fox News or something this weekend. He's like, "Well, Elon got here illegally," and like he was very blunt about that. And he's like, his student visa and went through the thing. And
he also called him punk.
Yeah, he called him punk. So like, I'm like, all right. So I guess Elon's getting deported. So that's going to be interesting because in theory, that would be technically. But whoa, Mr. Trump has. He is judge, jury, and executioner. So technically, he could apparently because no one's stopping him.
He won't.
I don't know about that. Why wouldn't he? He wants to cancel his contracts with the United States government. That's $8 million a day.
No, he just warned him. But look, it's not easy to replace the contracts. From what I know, it's
really
he's
easy.
deep down inside into this. That means that he's deep down inside into this, and that was a deal. So it was a big fight in a way.
Right, lovers quarrel, and now they're going to kiss and make up.
It was stupid.
So. Yeah, but what did you think you were going to get? Like, I mean, like if I had $240 million, I didn't know what to do with, and that's just stupid in general. I'm not going to put it into, you know what I mean? I mean, I get it. The oligarchs want to run America and the world, where the corporations, which are, if you will, the Democrats, the oligarchs, are more the Republicans. I get that the oligarchs want to control everything and make people do nothing and take over everything. But at the end of the day, like I keep saying, 7 billion people are going to take a picnic one day, and the oligarchs got nowhere to go.
Yeah. Did you see that someone floated the theory that this is all part of the plan and that they really want to impeach him so they can have Vance in there, and that Vance is more of a puppet than Trump is, and that's where this is all headed? Did you guys see that?
Oh, I didn't see that. I thought it was, we talked about it on the cigar show Saturday, that Rizza said he thinks that the Trump Musk fight is just theatrics, and that's their little, like, we're gonna have a fight, and just to make it fun. So he thinks they're all in on the joke, like Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler were back in the 80s about the wrestling type of thing. So I'm like, he thinks they're in on the joke, and I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see.
I don't know.
Just think it's interesting. I haven't heard the JD Vance. I don't know. JD Vance did call Trump a Nazi 4 years ago. Maybe if they want to get rid of
half
Trump,
his cabinet did, right? Like, and they're all like, "Oh, now I love you."
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, of course, because you're vice president. So if they impeach Trump,
Well,
let's
because
just
the
say that.
definition changes. So if you,
Yeah, well, yeah, it changes because he got a job. So, and he gets to fly around in a plane.
yeah, good
Hand me
job,
down. It's a
I
hand me
would
down.
say.
It's
Yeah.
a hand me down
Right.
plane. It's not like a really
Secondhand, but
nice plane. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
secondhand plane, but it's still a plane. But I guess the point of it is that so if on your conspiracy theory, if they impeach
Theory,
Trump, which I don't think they're
yeah.
going to, but let's say they do,
I don't
and
either.
JD becomes president. First of
Puppet in
all,
office.
right? First of all, is he just going to have the Oval Office full of couches? Second, is he
Ew.
going to? Ew. Second, if you don't sit anywhere in the Oval Office, then. And second,
Ew.
is he going to go back to the JD Vance that actually had a backbone, or is he
No.
going to be the JD Vance that has somebody's hand up his tuchus, and every
Yeah.
time they move it, he talks?
Yeah. Because
Which
he'll be
one?
so scared. If he sees what happened to Trump, he'll be scared shitless. So he'll do whatever they tell him to do. I think, but I don't think it's going to happen either. It's just their conspiracy theory. But I don't think that. I think at that point, then these riots that they're having in LA is going to look like child's play compared to what the maggots are going to do if they impeach Trump. It's going to be like pitchforks and little white hoods and everything marching around, and you took our leader kind of thing. And
yeah, but there's a town in somewhere in Missouri. It begins with a K. Bill Maher did the story on Friday, and it talked about the whole town voted for Trump. But ICE came and they took away their favorite waitress.
Total town of
right?
idiots.
All right, basically. And then they took away their favorite waitress. And the lady said, when we voted for it, we thought they were just going to take away criminals and gang members. We didn't know they were going to come after like moms. And it's sort of like, well, it's kind of like the same thing if you like a nuclear explosion when they did Fat Man and Little Boy back in the day. It's sort of like, we're going to drop a bomb in Japan to end the war. You're not going to tell that explosion, listen, don't kill the moms and the kids, right? It kills whoever. Right. So it's the same type of thing here. It's like, what did you think? There's a farmer in Idaho that said they voted for Trump. And then ICE came and they took all their people off their farm because they were illegals. And they said, but they didn't think that was going to happen. And then Bernie Sanders yesterday was on CNN and he said, which I thought was interesting, he goes, we talk about all this. He said, but no one's going after they want to reduce Medicare and Social Security, blah, 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 blah. He goes, but no one's going after the drug companies and the hospitals and the insurance companies that are overcharging the government. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing he said is,
pardon that guy who got 50 years and his wife got 35 years for Medicare fraud in Florida. You just pardon them. And
that's because
they're getting away.
The mom gave him $1 million at a donation in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
But the other thing which I thought was interesting, Bernie said, why are we punishing the people that work at, whether they're picking oranges or they work at the chicken plant or whatever it might be, because why aren't we going after the owners of the businesses in that? And I thought that was interesting. It's like we don't really go for the root of the problem. We go for the easiest thing. It's like, what's the easiest thing to make everybody happy? Okay, we're going to deport these people. We're going to do blah, blah, blah. But we're not going after, to Bernie Sanders' point, the insurance companies who are raking America over the coal. We're not going after the drug company. So we're not doing any of that, but we go after it like, we're going to go after you. Right. I just find that interesting.
What about the Idaho, like you said, the Idaho farmer who just complained that, you don't have anybody to work on my farm now and I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
They should go after you too, because you hired someone illegally. Technically, you broke the law. They should go after your dumbass too, but they didn't. They went after, like you said, the easiest target.
Right.
I have no empathy for these people. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Adam.
Adam's
too harsh.
He'll be back. Poor Adam. He's having problems in Greece today. So, but yes, there he is. He's back, ladies and gentlemen, for the people on the podcast. He's having a problem today.
Maybe not.
Government. So there you go. We'll have his little circle. There he is. Hey, Adam, welcome back.
Hi, Adam.
Sorry. I don't know what's going on. I think since I changed the computer settings, I have different Wi-Fi. It brings a problem. But anyway,
we'll
I
do the
listen
best
to you.
we can with it. He's like, I'm
because
listen,
I'm not living there. I'm not saying much because I don't know what's going on really. You know, we
We
hear
won't
things and
either.
we see things. Like, for example, I was looking at those riots, yeah,
Yeah.
and for me, a Greek guy who has lived in Athens, I mean, this is nothing.
Right.
If you watch what has happened in Greece, etc., you know, because of the economical problems and all this stuff, and in general, Greece has got a tradition into, you know, street fights and everything. For us here, if they did something like this, it would be like junta, like everybody would be out. I mean, all the
Right.
people would be out suddenly. If anybody calls the army here to the streets, it's for us called junta. That's a
Right.
dictatorship. So nobody will
Well,
do this. So there is a limit. There is a red point, red line, and we have here much more riots than you have in America. I tell you that. We are used to the riots.
yeah.
And protests and everything. People are going out for a lot of things, and I think this is power of the people, because we don't
Well,
have
that's and
any. We vote, okay,
Mhm.
but as you said, there are guys even from the Trump voters that
mhm,
they're not satisfied because we voted for this and this, but he's making
right.
a show of it. You know, it's totally obvious that
Yeah.
he's using, you know,
Mhm.
what he said to make a show. Now he's making a show. That's what I think. Okay, maybe I don't know much, but
No, I
what
agree
I
with you.
see.
I think he's flexing his muscle, whatever muscle that may be. So, but
Yeah,
but the
because if you look, if you,
go ahead.
he has made a lot of promises, and
Yeah.
nothing of these promises really happened. This is true.
Oh, he
You
said
know,
they
No,
did
he
no
though.
has
kidding.
He said,
unsuccessful
Adam.
everywhere.
No, he told us that they're successful. He said
Yeah, he
grocery bills
yesterday.
are down. Yeah,
Where,
he
Mhm.
went through all the things that he's done
where?
and told us that he did them.
But look, even the fight between Musk and if you look around, the fight started because of the bill. And I don't know
Hmm.
much about economics, etc. But from what I've read, you know, okay, I may be wrong. I don't know. I think Musk here has a point. Of course, he's looking at it from his own economical, gain and thinking, because he has contracts. But he looks also at and a lot of people agreed with that. But and
Yeah.
I've heard some things like people were voting for a bill that they don't really read. This is
Oh,
not
the big tax
democracy,
Of
you
bill.
course.
know.
Yeah, that's that
Yeah,
big
Yeah.
because we
tax
have
bill
to
that we're
say
doing.
everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And if those guys who vote for it, you know, they don't know what they're voting for, we're what we're talking about.
Of course they don't. Half those
It's
guys
not
are just
enough to
idiots.
call something very
Game.
beautiful and
That's true. Well, it is according to Trump.
yeah, but it's, you know, it's
Right.
Yeah. Trump is
so
it's going to be interesting.
I don't know what's going
Uh,
on, but yeah,
We don't either. You
yeah.
can't
it is
protest in
interesting. As
LA
you see,
because it's
we
a
are not bored.
riot.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're never bored.
You can storm the Capitol and kill a police officer and it's fine and we'll
Yeah.
pardon you. We can have a peaceful protest in LA where no one dies and we
Right.
call out the National Guard.
Well, we don't want
Sure.
peace. This is
Yeah.
the civil war, if you will, that we'll have. So there won't be
Mm,
an election in 28 because of all this going on. But I was
mm,
watching the live feed yesterday from LA, and
mm.
nicely, and the feed the other day when they were like they literally arresting people that were just standing there with signs and like screaming
Yeah.
at them. Right? It's okay.
Yep.
But then the law enforcement was like pulling them and doing, and I'm like, but they're not hitting you. They're just
Right.
yelling at you. Now,
Right.
as far as I know, that's okay. But
Right.
apparently no. So I'm like the protesters, and I give them credit, are not stupid. They're not trying to incite violence, or they're just saying we're not happy, and they have signs that say, ICE equals this and blah blah. That's fine. And they're saying, don't do. Why are you doing blah 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 blah? But meanwhile, they're out like whatever, and I'm thinking, we're the ones, if you will, law enforcement side. They're the ones that are inciting violence.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're
Mm-hmm.
calling out the National Guard, are you calling
Mm-hmm.
out the National Guard on your people because you're hoping the National Guard can handle it better? Or are you calling it out on the protesters, hoping that they now, come and you have a battle? So it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make any sense why any of it's happening. I mean, realistically, the one lady that was on one of the talk shows yesterday was saying usually when something like this happens, you send in the federal negotiator first before you call the National Guard or whoever. And they sit and they say, what's the problem? Okay. And we make all nice. She said, but Trump fired all those people. So there's no one to have that talk.
Or Elon fired all those people.
Well, whoever did. So, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm like, but what I saw, now I did see yesterday video also of protesters, which I didn't agree with. They were throwing rocks and like Molotov cocktails at the border patrol cars and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. You don't do. Like, I don't mind if you want to sit with a sign and scream and holler, blah, blah. But when you start getting, then the violence, I'm against 100%. So I did see that video and I was like, why are you doing that? That doesn't.
Did you see the video of the reporter from Australia who got shot with a rubber bullet?
By the police?
Yeah.
I heard that they were picking on reporters that had the press vests on.
She had her back to them and she was reporting and the guy was behind her and he was in the line and he just aims right at her and hits her in the back of the leg or back somewhere as she's reporting. So she wasn't even talking, like facing them. Yeah.
And she had a press. Okay. And she had a press vest.
She had a camera guy and and there were, she had a press on and everything.
So in my mind now, that officer should be brought up on charges and should also be sued.
Well, she's an Australian citizen, so hopefully, she this escalates with
But I'm just saying to me that's crazy. Why would you be shooting you don't want you shoot the press because you don't want them to report? I get that, but really, what all of a sudden you're like the press persons are terrible. No, see, this is to the Karl Polanyi book. This is Tyranny and Fascism, and Bernie Sanders said yesterday, which I thought was also easy. Trump is trying to bring fascism back. You're making it popular. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But LA is not, and it's hard to say cooler heads prevail, but it seems like cooler heads need to prevail. Like, don't protest, just stay in, because then there's no reason to call the National Guard.
That one guy they interviewed got with the lady asked him, "Oh, you got tear gas. How did that feel?" or something like that. Yeah. Did you see that interview? And he said, tastes like fascism. And people are like, "Oh, put that on a t-shirt. Got tear gas. Tastes like fascism." True.
So, well, since we're having since we're having a problem with Adam today with his link, we're going to bring in a special guest for Adam. So there will be four of us talking. We're going to bring Rizza in because Rizza's always full of good political comments.
Did you just kill Adam?
No, it's just his internet is not good. So we'll have Rizza come in from Habano Saturday because he's always full of stuff. There we go. We have a whole bunch of people coming. There we go. There's Rizza.
Everybody here.
I don't know what happens to Adam. Adam's internet. I think Adam's internet connection is linked to my internet connection.
Apparently, but yeah, we're having a little. So what's the take in Europe about all this? What's going on? What's your take?
I think we're all a little befuddled. The word is befuddled.
Okay.
I don't really think anyone knows where their head and their ass is anymore.
I think that's a true statement.
I think the world is literally. I mean, I'm saying this generally. There's Adam.
Oh, hello.
There's Adam. Hello.
Hey, by the way, sorry. By the way, hey, Stephen, I don't know what's going on today, but look, in my view, what I see, I was listening to you, everything, and I was watching myself also. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, if I freeze, it doesn't mean that I don't listen. Okay.
No worry. I figured this way, if you freeze or whatever, we have Rizza on too. So between all of us, we can get. We'll make sure we get the round table in. So
I think Stephen is tired.
Rizza, what do you think
about Trump specifically, or what's going on right now, Adam?
Whatever you want.
Whatever
you feel.
Politics. I never really took an interest in global politics since maybe the mid-90s when I was back at school or university, right? Yeah. But unfortunately, global politics, whether what Trump is doing, what Putin's doing, what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Europe, my God, everyone changes their mind every 2 seconds. Now, the one thing I do enjoy about Trump, I think Stephen knows this, is on I don't know if you could talk about humor on a serious level, right? But on a serious level, Trump is actually quite he's playing out to be quite a smart fellow. That's my perspective. Okay. Um, he's playing out to be a smarter fellow than Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson had this, and he used to get away with so much, right? Because people thought he was just charming and sort of very British and sort of like nice suit but crazy haircut, right? Okay, yeah. Trump is even smarter because I've got this into my head and it won't go away, right? Yeah, the world. You now very tangibly know, whether through social media, TV, but it's kind of obvious in your face that everyone just makes the rules up as they go along. People in power, right? Yeah. And I guess what Trump has decided a long time ago, you might say he sold his soul to the devil, right? Yeah. But he decided, right, if everyone's just going to make the rules up, so am I. And at least I'm going to be on the winning end every single time. And whether that, and this, we had this, little bit of a debate, Stephen, you and I, when we were on the Habanos show. Look how I plugged that with the cigar that I'm smoking right now, Monte Cristo.
I see that.
The
Yes,
Habanos
Monte
show.
Cristo.
Everyone watch it
Sure,
on the
gotta
Saturday
plug
morning.
our
Sorry,
shows.
that was it. That's enough. No more of that, right? No selling
Okay.
books or anything like that, right? Okay. Yeah. We were having this debate. It's like Godzilla-like creatures, Trump and Elon Musk, the giants. They're fighting. They're just having a few scraps. Everyone else below is the one who's getting hurt. And I think this is capitalism at its height. You remember Gordon? Was it Gordon Gecko? Was it Gordon Gecko?
Yeah, greed is good.
I mean, there's no other demonstrable way of showing it other than Trump. If you take the capitalist side, he's decided, right, I can be bought, you can buy. USA is open for business. If you spend money, I'm on your side. That's it. And riots and all this, it doesn't make any bloody difference. These are if you're frying eggs in a pan with oil, these riots are like comparable to one bubble that might emerge from that pan. I think that's how people see the world these days. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably am wrong. In fact, I'm confident that I'm wrong.
There we go. So I think that's an interesting way to look at it.
Adam, I can see Adam trying to size it up, right? He's trying to work out
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on in this man's brain. Yeah, he's sitting there smiling.
No. I think this is a soft.
Reza trying to be clever,
This is a soft.
Which one is he?
No. I think you're neither right, neither wrong. I mean, you are right.
Well, that's nice hedging.
It's also one point of the whole equation. It's also that we are, the whole thing is a theater, but we are the audience, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously that we like the show or not, because we see it, we talk about it, we analyze it, and so it's a show. We don't say, "Oh, what the fuck show is this? Let's
Adam, actually, that's
go
a really
see
good
something
analogy.
else." What the fuck
Go
am I
on.
doing?
No, go on. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, I think, but what you say is really true. It's really true that we have allowed as a society total greed, to be our master. That's it, and we have decided this. We have allowed it. It means that we are. I don't know. We are kind of bored with our lives because as a species, we are living the best. I mean, things that we have around ever humans had. I mean, 50 years ago, you cannot compare. We don't compare 100 or. Have you seen guys those memes from AI that interviews with guys from from Britain from 150s? Yeah, Middle Ages. Yeah, have you watched those?
Yes.
It's AIs. I mean, some memes.
Yeah.
Those are really clever because they show kind of reality. What was really
things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I found that produce something like that. I like that because it has a point. It has some truth, and what we're living now here, and what the fruits of what we're it's a crisis. It's totally crisis. I mean, we have lost the purpose, the meaning of life. In all our shows that we're doing, isn't that what we were talking about, Stephen, at the beginning?
Pretty much.
I was telling that this is a philosophical problem what we live. It's a philosophical problem. We have come to a point, especially in the West, where I don't know what's going on in the East, because I don't know what's going on in China or India. And we are talking two countries which are half population of the world. So I don't know what's going on there. But what I see in the West is that we have come to a crisis. It's obvious. We don't know what we want.
It's a disintegration of a way of life that people got very comfortable with 30, 40 years ago, and it's been disintegrating ever since. Yeah. The perspective, I think you're saying it's a philosophical problem. I think it is a philosophical problem, but it's also a historical problem because everything goes in cycles. People forget that all these things have happened before in different degrees, in varying degrees. If you read a bit of history, you realize that, cultures go up, cultures come down. In fact, not too far ago, not too far in history, you remember, in fact, Adam mentioned it last time, it was about Y2K. The world was going to end. It was like there was going to be a mass shutdown of software systems and computing systems. Nothing really happened, but there's this inherent panic that sets in, right? And this panic is being fueled by the fact that there is just more people in the West. There's just physically more bodies, people interacting with each other, more communication, and more communication doesn't solve anything. It creates more of a panic. And that's why some people choose to go and live a softer life. Oh, I'm going to move abroad and go live on an island or whatever it is. Yeah. But we're having a bit of a short circuit crisis going on. It's like in our heads, we're short circuiting. We're having difficulty dealing with our relatives, our neighbors, our friends. We're just having more and more difficulty coping with people.
Is that because it's economically, or is it just because it's political, or it's just because of everything has just come to a culmination between the internet and the YouTubes and the Instagrams and the TikTok stuff, where it's like just the algorithms are like hate, 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 and it's just got everybody to the point where they all want to kill each other.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying, but a real analysis of anything always comes from a historical perspective. We will not be able to analyze the storm we're in until we're sort of 10, 15, 20 years out of it. When you look back, you're able to see with greater depth and vision what happened and why it happened, right? Yeah, but I certainly think that social media generally, it may have some very positive elements to it, but generally speaking, it's causing it's basically my problem with social media. It's causing stupid people to think they're clever, and that is the general problem I have with global population, because this was not a problem 20 years ago, 30 years ago. 20 or 30 years ago, if you didn't know the answer, you didn't know the answer, or you were too stupid to look for it, or stupid to find it, or you just simply didn't know, and you would put your hands in the air. I don't know the answer. Now, every person on the planet thinks that they have the answer for everything, and they're entitled to talk about, I don't know, they're entitled to talk about global physics and whether the Earth is flat or not, whether they've never studied physics, they've never studied science, but they have an opinion on whether the Earth is flat or not. That's the kind of world we live in. That's such a weird world. Don't you think?
See, and in Greece it's flat, so he just fell off.
No, but no. No, at a very, very serious level. Yeah, people. You talk about average IQ. Average IQ is sort of like 100. Am I right, Vicky? Average IQ, it would be.
I think that's high.
100 is the average. So if you have a normal distribution curve, then the normal distribution curve in mathematics, the middle or the median is the average. Okay. Right. So let's assume that half the world's population is below average and half the world's population is above average. That is where the average is defined, correct? Yeah?
Correct.
You have 4 billion people that are below average on this planet, and they have an opinion about everything.
That's awesome.
So it's a problem of democracy.
However arrogant that may sound on my part, I'm not classing myself at the top. I'm just making a very, very simple observation. Adam left us for a moment. Half the people on this planet are below average, yet they can profess an opinion on social media about anything and everything, and they do.
That was why the founding fathers of this country were trying to protect us from that.
It's probably even more.
One more time, Vicky. One more time.
Sorry, Vicky.
Well, the founding fathers were trying to protect us from the stupid people. That's why they, had the electoral college, because they were afraid that once everyone got the right to vote, they were going to elect someone like Trump, and they didn't want that to happen. So they tried to put in these sort of fail safes to keep that from.
No, but the world was a different place, and the reason I mentioned this social media. Let's say let's go to a time just before social media. Let's say 2000s. Okay, let's say 2000. I mean, you had this kind of dot-com era that's taking place
Right.
sort of 97, 98, all the way up to about 2002. Anyway, but let's say before Facebook, before all this kind of stuff, let's say 2000, the year 2000. Okay, the world was a significantly different place. You had I mean, you had classes of people. You had workers, you had people who were 9-to-5ers, you had groups of people with different relevance, sort of a different a hierarchy of opinions. Now, a total numbskull has an opinion because they're on YouTube or TikTok, and they've got 4 million views. 4 million views for being dumb.
That's the problem with
Eco,
our show. We're just too smart.
Umberto Eco said this about the
Say,
internet. Do you remember?
One more time.
What, Adam?
Umberto Eco said that now. Umberto Eco said that now every average guy who no one would listen, who everybody would laugh in a pub, has an opinion as of the same value as a Nobel Prize winner. He said it a long time ago, and this is true. But I think, you're right about the historical frame of the whole thing. But it's also, it's even more complicated. It's also psychological, because we try to analyze this kind of period, and this kind of period never existed in the ever before in the society, because you have to put into the whole equation technology stuff, and we never had such advanced technology. We can literally destroy ourselves in 5 minutes right now.
We can do what?
The whole
we can do what?
thing
Destroy ourselves.
we can destroy ourselves, the whole planet, in 5 minutes. And the more technology we have, the shorter the time can be. I don't know, but it's the truth. We are developing right now technologies we don't understand anymore.
I'll ask you a question.
It's a problem.
I'll ask you a question, which I think
it wasn't.
Sorry, Adam. I keep cutting you out. I think it might be a delay.
No. It's not a question. It's a. Why am I freezing again?
No.
We have a delay with you. We have like a 3 to 5 second delay. So when we think you stop talking, Visitor's going to ask you a question, and then you start talking again. No worries.
So here's a question that I think is relevant to social media. It's relevant to personal intelligence. It's relevant to history. It's not too far away, but it's causing a panic. What's your opinion? So the answer to this question says a lot about where we are in the world today. Do you think we landed on the moon?
Yes.
Show of hands. I say yes.
Do you think we landed on the moon?
We all say yes.
Right. I haven't raised my hand.
Okay.
And I haven't raised my hand not because we don't think we did, but I think that there is so much going on in the world that anything could have happened now. Now, someone like me is full of doubt about. So I'm trying to give you an analysis here by my own stupidity. What I'm saying is, I think I'm an educated person. I think I can speak sort of relatively eloquently, yeah. And now I'm full of doubt because there is so much information. There is so much contrasting information. There is so much hearsay. There's so much disinformation that actually, to be able to precisely say, yes, 1,000,000%, would you bet your life on it? Would you bet your life on it that we landed on the moon? Would you bet your life on it?
No, that
there
I
you
wouldn't
go.
do.
There is that element of doubt. Okay.
Yeah. And do you know why I have here's why I have doubt with that. It's not the guys with the Stanley Kubrick film, and it's not look at the shadow, and it's not look at this. Here's where I have my biggest doubt, where I'm like, I'm 99% sure we went to the moon.
99%. There you go. Right. That's it. 99%.
But here's why. Because when they ask NASA to say, can you show us the calculations and your telemetry and all this other stuff, we lost it. Can we see the original video? We lost it. This supposedly in the 60s is the greatest thing we've ever done that this civilization knows, and you lost it. That's where I'm like, now you make me question it.
Let me ask you a simpler question. I'll ask you a physicist's question. Yeah.
Sure.
When on a clear sunny day, you walk out. What color is the sky?
Blue.
Depends
No,
on
it
where you
isn't.
live.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
What,
The answer
what
is
is
it
it?
isn't. You're deceiving. Your lying eyes are telling you that
Oh,
it's blue.
what
Right.
color is it?
Okay. And that is it. Right. And so if Adam wants to reduce this to not reduce or elevate this to philosophy, yeah, I'm
Right.
happy. It is philosophical. It's
But it is, it was what
metaphysical.
I was talking about. It's if you zoom
Yeah.
out, because you're talking about realities with technology now and with AIs and stuff like that and VRs and stuff, you will see that we are living in a different realities. The reality is not it's not what we really think it is. There are
No, but
different points of realities,
no, but the
and this
only
is
point.
true. It's natural, and we
The
are
only point that
discovering
I was
it.
trying to make, Adam, the only point I was trying to make is if someone in my head, someone such as me, such as Stephen, such as yourself, such as Vicky, educated people, well-meaning people having a reasonable discourse, if we have elements of doubt in things that 20 years ago we would never have doubted, right? What does the simpleton, what does the average idiot with two brain cells,
Right.
what problem does that chimpanzee face? Yeah. And I say that it sounds insultingly, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that because of social media, that chimpanzee is elevated to professor of mathematics at Harvard University, right? How are people able to make decisions anymore? And that's why society is kind of short circuiting and sort of like it's it's either going to implode or explode, one way or the other, right? And who can guess when that's going to happen? It may be about to happen, maybe it's already
Thursday,
happening.
by the way. Thursday, a week from Thursday.
It's
We've already
always
planned.
Thursday in Stephen's world. Things happen on Thursday.
That's
Because
because
it's
it's
right
the
before
Thursday
HR
hypothesis.
Friday.
Yeah.
So back
Right.
to
Yeah.
Trump. Trump has worked this out a long time ago. He said, right, I'm going to be on the winning end.
Well, he'll be on his winning end. There was a
That's it.
story.
But that's it.
Right.
That's one man's journey, isn't it?
But
Right.
Right.
there's a winning or not winning is the same thing as we talked about realities. It's a narrative. He has his own narrative. Whatever happens, he's in the winning side. So look, if a guy, whatever happens in his life, believes that he's a winner anyway because he needs it so much, because I don't see terms of life in winning or losing, because I didn't ask to be here. I think about free will and stuff like this. And what's free will? I have kind of illusion of free will.
Yeah.
That's what we have, because I wasn't asked about anything in my life. Okay, I've worked some things in my life, but a lot of stuff is random. It's like at least looks random in my head because I cannot read this reality. Yeah, and the whole thing looks like that.
Yeah.
For the people that
Well,
missed that on the podcast.
the pursuit of life, whether it's
Yeah.
science or life, is to bring order from randomness. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
To make sense.
go
To make
against
sense.
entropy. Go against entropy.
Yeah, to make sense
That's
of
what life
things.
is.
Okay. And I think Trump is making sense of things in his way, and that's it. Yeah, right. We
Yeah,
will
but
survive. It's all about survival, but there you go.
yeah, but that's kind of the whole thing. Since the beginning of time, man has always fought over nothing. And that's kind of
Well,
what we're
man
doing
has always
here.
fought over women.
Well, sometimes they fought over land or horses or whatever. But I mean, at the
But
end of the
essentially
day,
to get women.
sure, because with the more horses, you get more women. And Genghis Khan, 9,000 wives. He's my idol. But my whole point is that what's Trump fighting over? What do you, not make America great again? America was great before he screwed it
Legacy.
up.
Legacy is
What,
always
to be
about
the guy
legacy.
who
Don't forget
imploded the
Trump.
earth?
Trump is about what is Orson Welles' Citizen Kane? Trump is
That's the
Citizen
game.
Kane.
Yeah.
Here's his Rosebud, right? You remember
Yeah.
Rosebud?
Yeah.
Rosebud is a little sled. Trump seemingly wants to build the JFK a legacy bigger than JFK's legacy. You know, the Kennedy
Yeah.
legacy, the family
Yeah.
legacy. One day you'll be seeing Baron Trump running for president or ruler of the world. Even you never know.
Yeah.
Yay. Something to look forward to. But no, I'm just saying, is that so that's what we're going for. He's going for a legacy. Wouldn't a legacy be better if you were the best president of the United States and you actually did things and you didn't impose martial law, insurrections and whatnot? Because your legacy right now, well, like 100 years from now, depending on what happens with democracy, if people go back and look at it, they're going to be like, they're going to look at him like a Hitler. And that's not, I don't think the legacy you'd be striving for, would it? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it would seem to me I'd be like, we lowered inflation, we did this, we did that, people wanted me to run for a third term, but I didn't because it's in the Constitution. I conceded the election in 2020 like I was supposed to. Not that it's all voter fraud, it's all this, it's all blah, blah. It's kind of like his legacy now is very tarnished. And now this love affair, mommy and daddy are breaking up. It's tarnishing it even more, but for both of them, which I find very interesting.
And do you think anyone's going to forget Trump in a hurry?
I don't think. Do I think he's what in a hurry?
No one's going to forget Trump in a hurry. I mean, I think he's made his mark. You know, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you're for it or not for it, he's made his mark. And I would imagine, not that I could get inside the head of Trump, but if I was to write a fictional book about the inside of the head of Donald Trump, a fictional book, right? My main assertion would be is that this man wants to be remembered at all costs. And his journey is very different to your journey, which is why you and I, it's like we're not all going to the same destination. We're not. Sorry, Vicky.
I think I'm gonna play the opposite, devil's advocate for you, Reza, because I think
the angel's advocate.
What I see is that with people like Musk and people like Trump and these sort of, gazillionaires, it's all about now. I don't see them thinking about the future or leaving a legacy or what. They don't understand history. They don't really care. It's all about my life. I want this now. And when I'm dead, I don't care. I don't care what I leave for my children. I don't care what the world is like after I fucked it all up. If I've made my money and I've done what I want to do and I'm this rich, powerful person, that's their end goal. I don't think they go, I want to be the greatest.
But in both sides, it's about ego, right?
Right.
Oh, probably.
Elevated ego.
Well, we had a fan that just asked the question. They said, and you think the left is correct? And they put LOL. Unfortunately, I don't think either side is correct. And I hate this left and right and centrist stuff because the left and the right keep moving. How far left, how far right, and centrists keep moving as well because it depends with left and right. So I don't agree with a lot of what either side says, and some I agree with what they say. So, each side has a good perspective on certain things. On another things, the Maltese Falcon there, of course. They don't have a good anything. That was the mascot for a little bit for the cigar thing when he did cigar noirs. But anyway, another story. But so I don't agree with left or right. I always go back to, we're all stuck on this little blue marble together, third rock from the sun, make a left at Pluto. We should just all get along and figure out how to do that and how to make humanity go forward for the benefit of everybody, not 5 people. Now, I'm granted I'm one of the 5, but it's okay. But the problem is I keep saying this, at some point, the 7 billion who aren't doing okay are going to take a picnic. And unless Elon's spaceships are leaving for Mars tomorrow, oligarchs are not going to be safe. And that's where the issue becomes.
Well, they're also not going to, if you think that the right is better, it's like these people that voted for Trump that are now no longer happy. We didn't think they were going to take away our favorite waitress. But then if you ask them, if you knew that he was going to take away your favorite waitress, would you still vote for him? 100%. They all say yes. Right. Their lives are not better, but they would rather shoot themselves in the foot over and over again than, oh my God, vote for somebody else. And I've voted for both sides too. I'm not I haven't always voted left my whole life. But it's like they refuse. They could take your favorite waitress out and shoot her in front of you with a firing squad, and you go, yeah, we don't like that, but at least it's not Kamala. It's like,
right.
I can't. Sorry, I can't talk to you. I can't. You're on the bottom half of the bell curve, and I can't argue with you because your brain doesn't work. Have at me.
And the oligarchs who voted for him. The oligarchs who voted for Trump. I'm not talking about the average person. I'm talking about the super wealthy that are like, ooh, Donnie. And I've talked to my acquaintances who did that, and they are all like, this isn't going how we thought it was going to go. And I'm thinking,
why?
And Rob Vega says this very good on Vaguely True. He's like, Trump has always telegraphed what he's all about. Nothing he's doing, like even sending in the National Guard and threatening to send the Marines to Los Angeles, I'm not shocked. I'm like, okay, I got it. Like nothing. He's just Trump. I mean, and he's been in the public light for 40 or 50 years.
Not a
He
surprise.
has told you everything he's going to do. I think even Riza said this. It's not like I woke up and went, oh, this is a shocker. No, it's pretty much like every Agatha Christie novel or, every.
Do you remember the movie
anyway.
in the 80s? It was the late 80s. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Running Man. Do you remember Running
Yeah,
Man?
Running Man. This is like Running Man.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the host of Running Man, who
Richard
himself
Dawson.
in real life was, I can't remember his name, he's very famous.
Richard Dawson.
There you go.
Host
But he
of Family Feud.
He plays a caricature of himself,
Yeah.
where it's a game show, and the entertainment, it's like the gladiators, right? The Roman gladiators, the aim, you derive entertainment from people being punished and killed, right? Yeah.
Right.
That was considered at that time dystopian future.
Right.
We are in that place right now where we get off on absolutely everything and anything. Yeah, that desensitization, oversensitization, and that's back to this social media. Trump is president because of social media, in my personal opinion. Yeah, the guy ran a game. He ran a game show. He ran The Apprentice, right? I was watching The Apprentice, so we're talking 2005, 2006 onwards, right? Okay. Right. In fact, I was once in New York, walking around Central Park, and I bumped into one of the contestants that was on that series at that time. It was that connection to social media at that time. But that's why Trump, and that's why in the 80s Ronald Reagan became president. He was known. He was he was an ex-film star. He was known. You need celebrity in the USA. Powerful celebrity helps. Rich and powerful helps even more. That's what happens, and social media has enabled it. Social media, in my opinion, is the downfall of civilization. On balance, it has its benefits, but on balance, it's the downfall of civilization. The dumbing down of civilization. You can make a short out of that. You can quote me on that. Social media has fucked us all up. We think we can do anything. I can put a photo of myself into AI right now and make a crocodile smoke a cigar, and it takes 3 minutes. Correct?
Yeah, because we've done that.
Vicky will resent that, because if I had said to Vicky, if Vicky was around 20 years ago, and I said, Vicky, can you do a portrait of me as a crocodile smoking a cigar? She would have thought about it, and she would have analyzed, what crocodile and what color. Should we have it dark? And then she would paint for 3 days, and whether you want it in pastels or it was a creative process, an intelligent, creative process. Now, some fucking chimpanzee sitting in a rickshaw in, I don't know, wherever, okay, and forget that, some idiot in a forest in, I don't know, Midwest, in 2 minutes can do the thing that required energy, creativity, and effort, okay? So that dumbing down, but thinking you're cleverer, is the thing that is distorting civilization, in my opinion. The fact that we can have someone, remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, Stephen, we were talking about the columns found underneath the pyramids.
I remember about a month ago.
Right. 30 years ago, scientists and archaeologists would have had an opinion, and it would have been written up and put in the press, and you and I would have read it and gawped at it, right? Now everyone's got a fucking opinion on it. Right? People who haven't studied any science or archaeology, etc., and it goes on.
Yeah, because it's about the ego. It's about the ego. I see smaller Trumps, around the internet. It's like this. It's if you have more power, you're more famous, and you're after your dream to have a legacy. I think everything that has been said is true.
No, but I don't think it's about Trump. I think it's about civilization has enabled people.
Yeah, but
like
civilization
Trump.
is constituted from every one of
us.
This.
Has enabled. It wasn't that long ago. It was only 45 years ago. Well, I mean, it's within living memory. You had someone like Jimmy Carter who gave up his peanut farm. He put his peanut farm in trust for the duration of his presidency, so that there wouldn't be any. The ethics, the morality,
conflict
and the ethics
of interest
were that I shouldn't be benefiting directly, personally, from my position in an office. Okay, we live in a very different world, but that world has been enabled by a humongously stupid population, global population, as an aggregate, who generally think they're much, much cleverer. There you go.
But they think they're much, much cleverer. I think part of that is because of the internet, which no, and definitely TikTok and Instagram, because that makes you dumber. And a lot of them also think they're clever because of AI now. It's like, I don't know squat, so I'm going to ask AI, but then AI makes up things. And we had talked about this on another show where I said, when we use AI, I'll be like, I need X, Y, Z. And then I say, no hallucinations, don't make anything up and do all the research. And I need all the research then at the very end of where you got it from so I can fact check you. So when we do something with AI now, it's almost like I'm writing a dissertation with fact checking because I don't trust AI.
I'm going to be really, really interested on Adam's thinking about AI and philosophy, the philosophy of AI, and if AI will be able to grapple. I'm sure it will be. I think we are. To be honest with you, we're finished in the next 10 years. That's my gut feeling as global civilization. We're finished.
Intuition.
Well, I'm looking at it, trying to look at it as a scientific perspective. If I believe in everything I've said, we're dumbing down. We think we're clever, which means we've left ourselves open to any attack by anyone. We just think we're clever people, you know. We think we're, as a global nation, we think we're clever. I think we're far more stupid, not a little bit more stupid, far more stupid. Right. Okay. As I think all the IQ points are falling, our reliance on technology is increasing. As I was talking about this creative process with Vicky, yeah, you now need no creativity, you now need no effort, you now need no skill to do the thing that Vicky would take a week, 2 weeks, a month to do in terms of creative.
Well, I don't think it's the same thing, though. I don't think it's the same thing. I mean, one is a kind of a replica of an idea that it's spitted from the AI, and the other is what you have.
I agree with you, but but I'm talking about the consequence to the person using it. Then they're no longer.
Look, I could have used more AI in my. I wasn't a tech fear or something like that because I was using 3D for more than 20 years. When 3D was out, it was like AI at this point. But AI is more magical but you needed to learn some skills and stuff like that. I still do 3D because the process is also very important to me. It's an ongoing conversation. This in the arts in general. But the arts, is about rarity, so I'm not worried. I was worried at the beginning, but now I see the scale of things are coming out. I'm more worried on things that you were saying before about the ethics and what's going on, and if we are fucked in the next 10 years.
If you went to a doctor, 2020, I'll give you the UK experience. If you went to your local GP, general practitioner, you would go to a doctor that would specialize generally. You would sit with him or her, you would have a chat for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. They would know your family history, your history generally, and they would look at you and take a temperature and try to work out, what you're feeling a pain in your back, lower back, that kind of thing, right? You know what they do now? And they've been doing this for like 10 years. They just go, they have a computer open, they checklist, tick, 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 done, and the computer gives you the closest diagnosis that it can. Right. And so what's lost in that? Anyone can input that. I can sit at home and input my diagnosis into and you unbelievably the National Health Service here in the UK, that's what it makes you do now. It makes you log on, input all your symptoms, and then it decides whether you should go and see a doctor or not. Right?
Yeah, but here's an interesting fact. I know, Vicky, you want to say something, so let me just get this. There's an article in There was an article in the Financial Times and also in Bloomberg this weekend, and it talked about AI, and AI is coming for jobs. And I know, like on Bill Maher's show, he's like, "Oh, I don't believe that." AI is coming for everything. It's talking about customer service reps, and I know that from Hero, right? Because Hero has a translation model where you can speak whatever language, and it speaks all 7,000 languages. They've got the bots that do this. They've got for paralegal. They've got for doctors. We told the story on Lost Dollar Business Club. Michael's mom was really sick. They couldn't figure it out. So Michael and his girlfriend Noosh told AI what was wrong with mom. It says, run this test. And they told the doctor, and the doctor goes, that's usually a useless test. And they're like, we want you to run it. They ran the test and get what was wrong. Exactly what the AI said. So we're getting to a point now where going and getting an education isn't like when the four of us went for an education where we had to read books, research. We talk about, Encyclopedia Britannica on the wall. It's like I just type it into my iPad, I get an answer. So to Riz's point, not just social media is dumbing down the globe. AI is going to dumb down the globe as well, because people still, as we all know, I like this. I like books. I like to read, right? Half the population doesn't know what one is and doesn't. So, Pete, that's right. There you go. So all of us like to read. Islands of the Stream. I got that. Everybody likes to read. So there's going to be a part of the population that's still going to be intellectually smart. There's going to be another part that isn't, because it's like, why do I need to? I can use AI. And that's what's dumbing down the planet. And all the other BS that's going on, whether it's Trump or whether it's in Russia with the Ukraine and what G's wants, and they all is just a smokescreen for the dumbing down of the planet and the people. So 10 years, no, I think by the end of this decade, you're going to have really stupid and really smart. Now, what that does for the outcome of the planet, I have no idea. And I just think by 2035, the AI overlords take over. I mean, because
right, exactly.
What we're doing.
It's all part of the plan.
That's all part of our plan here at the Illuminati Lizard People Club. But that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, there's a mean to an end, and I don't think the public understands the end. There you go. One of our members.
Do you have a prop for everything, Riza? Do you have like
he does.
He does.
He has a prop for everything. He's got the Maltese Falcon there. He's got Blizzard. He's got whatever you need. He's got.
It's like a prop house in there.
There you go. But I mean, unfortunately, that's where we are. Technology is a wonderful thing if technology makes you and progresses you as a society and a person forward. But when people use it and it dumbs them down, and it dumbs down society, and then to Riz's point, now we don't believe if we went to the moon, or now whatever it might be, that becomes bad. Then who really is the overlord? AI.
Right.
Yeah, but who is AI?
That's part of the plan.
Well, you guys think AI should be this. You guys sent me an article.
In my opinion, what Reza was addressing about the social media is kind of to look to the people that look how dumb you are. It's a democracy problem. That means that there are too many stupid people around, and we shouldn't have democracy after all. So I think there is the point, and that's why they are preparing you in a way, because they don't want also fights and riots, because that's the human's power, it's a fight.
You're gonna get, if you already don't have it, you're gonna get a global supercomputer. That's going to run the world, and we're all gonna say, well, this computer knows everything, we'll allow it to run the world.
Right.
Yeah, right. Whether you can see that computer or not, I mean, a visual element to it. In 4 years, 5 years time, there'll be a declaration that we have developed. So what we've done, we've inputted everyone's intelligence. We've got Einstein's intelligence in there.
AGI. It's called AGI.
Right, and it will have a name. It'll have a name. And
Adam.
Adam.
We have a name.
That's kind of perfect.
And people will worship. Some people will worship it. Some people will take orders from it. Some people will resent it. But ultimately, it will run the world and keep the world safe from harm.
Oh, thank God! I'm just waiting now.
That's optimistic.
That's the way the world is going. I mean, that is the way. If it's going in a linear direction, that's where it's going.
Then because there was this question, do you think the left is correct and lol stuff like that? And I tell you that left and right are just narratives, because left for me has nothing to do what you think in America is left.
Right.
I told you this many times. We in Greece believe that your left is actually our right.
In the UK behaving like the right, exactly. It has no meaning. These things have no meaning.
It has no meaning at all.
Redundant terms to describe modern problems.
Right, but that's my point. There is theoretically the left and the right. If they're in
you
your
divide
country,
and conquer. The whole point of it is to sow division.
But that's why we're divided, and but it's also Reza, it's also a psychological problem. I tell you, this is philosophical, psychological, social problem, and history is inside. It's very complicated, but I think that it's psychological from the point of view that people now cannot, because we are humans. After all, we might be developed humans with apes with smartphones and AIs, but we are apes. We have feelings. Yeah, exactly.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
And
yes, we
well
just have a prop for everything.
Dr.
free
Zayas,
apes.
yes,
There you
yeah,
Planet of the Apes.
that's what we are. It's a planet of apes, but we have strong technology, and we start not to understand our world, and we have also general problems like it's called in psychology fluid
People on the
compensation.
podcast have no clue.
That means that all right.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Don't stop.
I was like, did I freeze? What happened?
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Okay,
I don't know what you're here.
I think we have a problem of fluid compensation. That means that we cannot fulfill our real needs as humans.
Which is?
And we fulfill bullshit all the time, either with capitalism, either with philosophy, either with opposing science. I mean, we lose a lot of time on bullshit. That's what we do. It's that obvious. And I'm saying I try not to, but I sometimes do too. But
no, but that Adam, that's just it. You know, I'll pose this question about did we land on the moon or not? As far as I was concerned, that was done and dusted 50 years ago. Now it's back again. This is a new problem to talk about again and to psychoanalyze and physically analyze, and everyone has a perspective on it. Something that was done and dusted, that didn't require any more discussion, that required onward movement, is being reanalyzed and rediscussed. And this is whether you want to call it mass distraction, but I think all our brain cells are colliding with each other with too much information, and that is what technology has done. Technology could have facilitated
too
it.
much information is no information. Is what I say that
Exactly.
they're saying about the AI art, and now I say that everybody can be an artist now. And when
Too much
everybody's an
information
artist,
actually is worse than no information. It's worse than no information.
Right.
If you have no information,
there is no world with no information. We always have information from our
it's information
background.
It's becoming information overload, and because it's information overload, what's happening is to Riz's point earlier, the stupid people are not processing it. They're just taking the latest greatest bit soundbite and go, "This is true," whatever it might be. The moon is made out of blue cheese. That's great. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The people that have some intellect go, "Okay, that's really cool. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to do some research on it." And so while everybody else has 9,000 opinions on 9,000 subjects, which are useless, then you get a handful of people that are like, "Oh, I did the research and this is what I found to be true. And this is what I'm comfortable with." And okay, I don't know all 9,000 things. I just know the one or two that I know. And I'm good with that. So that's kind of where I think society is having its issue right now. Everybody's trying to be, I know everything. And there's times where I don't know a clue and I'm like, I got to research it. No clue. So
but I there is an impetus behind this. This impetus you have to find. What is the source of the thing that these guys, all those stupid guys, etc., etc. And I tell you, they're exposing it like kind of look, guys, how many stupid people are around, and they're voters. They have the same vote like you. There'll be also this kind of discussion, but this is a facet discussion. I tell you that normal. But look, on the other hand, I don't know which one of the ancient politicians said that democracy is the best, system, but it needs educated people. He said it from the beginning. He already said it from the beginning. That not everybody was eligible to vote in Athens at that time. But it was a democratic process between people who really actually thought about it. That's why they elevated the society at that time. We are doing the opposite thing. That every shit has an opinion. All right, so we need, every meaning has a quality behind it. This quality can be bad quality or can be nice quality. So it's like that.
There you go, Vicky. What do you have to say?
About
everything we talk.
Yes, I agree.
Generally,
I mean, that's how they set. Like I said before, that's how they set up this country. I mean, I didn't have a vote back then, obviously, as a female, but their fear was that all these ignorant people in the U.S. were going to get to vote for leaders, and they didn't want that. So they sort of set up this grand experiment, which is now colossally failing because of other factors. But that was the philosophy behind democracy too, is that it needs checks and balances in order for it to function properly. And it's like I always said before, is I think it's this collectivist agreement, like with Carter, where you agree that I'm going to abide by these rules. These are, I'm gonna give away, or I'm gonna put my farm in a trust so that I'm not benefiting from this office. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna follow the rules. We're gonna listen to what judges have to say. And when this person comes in and goes, I don't care what a judge has to say. I'm going to do what I want. I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to do what I want. And he's the guy in power. All of a sudden, this whole agreement falls apart and there's no more democracy because he's not buying into it. So now we're like, oh, but the judges, what judges? He says the judges are worth nothing. Oh, but
I'll tell you something. This, as an outsider to the US thing, I'll tell you something. It means that your system doesn't work anymore. That's what it means.
Right.
It means that it had a relevance in a certain period of time. The club was different. The club rules were different, right? Yeah, those club rules are not applicable in modern day society. So if you resent the fact, if you resent Trump being there, if you're the type of person that resents Trump being there, then you also have to reflect on the fact that it's your rules that have set it up.
Put him there, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And he's able to do that. And he hasn't manipulated anything other than what he was able to get there. And someone who is on Trump's side, or even Trump, would think, well, I've done it the right way. I've got myself elected, whether it took money, it took whatever it did, I got myself there.
It's going to be, like I
different
said,
set of rules.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens in 28. And for the next, say, 10 days, it'll be interesting to see what they do with mommy, Elon Musk. Mommy and daddy are still fighting.
Carry on. Thank you. I'm over and out.
See you Saturday. Cheers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there as well. So that was nice. Had a different perspective
and
from
in
London
LA
today.
as well.
So there you go. And in LA, what happens there. So, well, this was a fun show. Basically, it's the demise of the world. And yay, by Thursday. There you go. And Vicky, the reason by Thursday is there's a hypothesis called the Thursday hypothesis, which every day is really Thursday, and you just relive that day. So that's
like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, basically. So every day is Thursday. So that's why I always say Thursday is when it's going to happen.
Every day is Thursday.
Because of the Thursday hypothesis. There you go. Thank you for the song.
And I'm happy all the way. Now, if I sing it to AI, he'll make a nice song from it.
I know. Actually, give it to David.
That's what David does all day long.
That's what David does. David's got like 50 AI songs, and they are all busting the charts, and they're like some of them are like number one now.
That David is ruling the world from his little corner in Greenland somewhere. That's why
I'm not even sure if David's real anymore.
He's just AI. We just tell everybody he's a person, and that's it. So David, that's when David shows up. There's always a glitch.
There's a wooden raise his hand in the question if David is real.
Is David real? Raise your hand. No one's raising their hand. There you go. So we just use David as our alter ego, and you just have him do all this stuff with generated by AI.
One old part.
David is our imaginative friend that everybody has.
David, your imaginary friend. That's true. That's very true.
This is what keeps us together. Actually, this illusion that we have a friend called David.
That's right. Or David likes to say it's his nightmare.
Other people change names. Yeah, some others have a name Jesus, Allah, Muhammad.
Jesus, David, Jesus, whatever you want.
Yes.
Guys, as always, it has been a fun show. Vicky, it's always good to see you. Tomorrow, Vicky is going to be on Sermon from the German at 8 o'clock, which is 9 o'clock Eastern time, live with Brown Car Guy. Watch the channel. See the shows. It'd be nice.
Okay.
Anyway,
it's a show. All right.
It's a show. Yeah. Sermon from the German with Brown Car Guy will be on. Brown Car Guy is a YouTuber. He talks about cars, but we usually talk about politics and UFOs and a whole bunch of stuff. Everyone's always invited. Rizza will pop in and out of that show every now and then. So that's a good show. And then we'll also have tomorrow Greg Shapiro, world famous comic, who comes and does his once a month Climate Good News, or we call it Funny Haha, because that's what Climate Good News is. So that'll be tomorrow live as well, and they'll all be rebroadcasted. So for all the fans that want to do that, subscribe and like, and you get notified that we're when we're on. And there you go. So anything else we want to say before we say goodbye to the fans till next week, if there is a next week, because Thursday's coming?
Stay safe. Stay safe and sound.
Stay safe and sound. Vicky, what do you want to say?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
This is why
I vote yes.
This is why Vicky's got her Vicky
I'm for
in
it.
Your Life channel that just goes boom, boom,
Become
boom,
a
boom,
yes
boom.
in your life.
Become a yes in your life.
Yes,
All right,
always the right
it's been
answer.
good to see everybody. Stay
Yes.
safe. Be as Rizza says, kidding around. Try to be nice to each other. We'll see everybody next Monday. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you don't want to see our pretty faces, you can catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Look for Two Old Farts Making Noises on the podcast. It's wherever you get them. And here on YouTube, it's 2OF Entertainment. And there you go. I think I've covered it all. Everybody, have a nice day. Cheers.